Hey, this is Laura, and welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. If you're new to the channel, know that this channel specializes in healing the effects of trauma. So I talk a lot about karmic themes, trauma bonds, soul wounds. That's what I look for when I first open up my reading. Anything that's, again, a spiritual wound, a karmic block. And we know when we have a karmic block or, again, a spiritual wound, is because we're experiencing a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of physical manifestations, there's a lot of psychological manifestations, and because of this, a lot of undesirable life experiences wind up manifesting from that trauma. I just had a shake. Excuse me. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, do I have chocolate on my face? Felt like I had chocolate on my face. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, anything that you need to know about this channel, such as my giveaways, how to book a personal reading, how to follow me on any social media, anything about my subscriptions, you'll find in the description box down below. Now, I want to do a reading. Well, I want to say like a message, but it's a little bit bigger than a message because a message is short. So I would like to say a spiritual reading for my Cancer people. And I'm going to first start off at looking at the discorded energy. It's because once we know what the discorded energy is, we have an opportunity to be able to see what we would need to do in order to heal that particular situation or that particular wound. Okay, Cancer, here we go. Let's see. First card out is Honor. Self-critical. Obscurity. Okay, so automatically what I'm feeling, Cancer, is that you're connected to someone that makes you feel bad about yourself because they give you very little. They don't treat the relationship with honor. They're not honoring the relationship. So for some of you, because this is a general reading, it's a selected few, but for whatever reason is coming in right away that this is a new relationship. So there's an intense connection. Again, there's a lot of chemistry. It feels like instantaneous that you've known this person, even though you just met this person. Like there's just an instantaneous connection. And this happens when it's a soul relationship. But because of obscurity, and because the person's making you feel self-critical, I feel like it's a trauma bond. I feel like it's a karmic mate. Now understand, karmic mates, you can get the, again, needy popped out. And needy is codependent. When we feel that there's a lack in ourselves, we again look to fulfill that, whatever it is that we're lacking in, from a resource outside of ourselves. So this is what a trauma bond a lot of times represents in the physical, what we're conscious of, meaning we know automatically that we have a connection to someone and we admire certain traits about them that maybe we feel that we can't have. We feel that, again, that we're defective in that area, and that's how we know that we have a spiritual block. Okay, and so the irony of a trauma bond is that it will also mirror your parents' relationship or a relationship that you grew up in, one of the first earlier relationships that you have had, that you haven't had, but you've seen. rather. Like again, it could be your mom and your dad, it could be your older sister and her boyfriend, it could be again an aunt and uncle, or anyone that you were around younger. And the dynamics of that relationship, the karmic themes within that particular relationship, you'll notice are also playing out within the current relationship that you have a trauma bond with. And the reason why is because it's a spiritual thing, meaning it's a spiritual lesson. And a lot of times we go through experiences that create trauma, and then we wind up reliving those experiences just with different people that are soul mates. Now, a soulmate can be anyone that comes into your life for a day, a season, forever. We have life partners that spend our entire life. We have twin flames that come in and out and sometimes stay forever and sometimes don't. Again, all these relationships teach us. But when they're teaching us pain, again, self-critical and enforcing pain, because if we're needy, it means that we have pain inside of us because we're seeing that there's limitation, there's lack, there's something that's missing. So this is the dynamic. So the relationship obviously had to start off good at one point, and that's the recognition of your person. The problem is that right now and during the current moment, your person is giving you very little. And honor, you may feel as if because you're married that you have to keep that sacred oath, because maybe you come from a religious family or you have kids or outside resources again that have told you you need to honor these obligations before yourself. The problem with that is that will keep you needy and also self-critical, because if someone's connected to you that's giving so little, you automatically know that they're not valuing you. So I want to see what spiritual lessons again, or I'm going to look at the Akashic records, your Akashic records. I want to first look at yours and your person's, and then see what the message is. The wild rose, do it your way, embrace your uniqueness untamed. So again, this is suggesting like in order to heal it, and maybe again in a past life, you were very independent and you did everything your own way. But again, there was a lot of people that again made you feel self-critical about doing it. Or again, maybe you grew up in a family that again you were free, but now you've gotten away from yourself. So the answer would really be you would need to utilize this energy, get back to this energy again, because we know that you're codependent. But we had said that before. So this is actually confirming what the Psychic Soul deck said. Is again, wild rose, do it your way. Embrace your uniqueness. And that means find your individuality. And that means your life should be balanced, not just of a relationship and work, but your hobbies, your interests, what stirs up your soul, what makes you you, what's your flavor. Your flavor is your unique individuality. Where do you spend your time, your energy, you focusing your money? And if it's just with this relationship and you're getting very little, you could see why you would stay in this energy and why you would actually be emotionally needy, because you're not getting anything. So this is telling us to do this. But ironically, you might have always done this and you've gotten away from it, and the person that you're with is made you again abandon yourself per se. So the answer for you is to do that. Now let's look at the person that you're connected to. And this is just again a karmic block that you possibly could have incarnated with, and also what the healing antidote would be. So the sacred union, beloved within, inner and outer relationships. So this is again saying why the codependency is what it is, because the person doesn't love themselves. Once again, I'll read it again. The love within, inner and outer relationships. So if I can love myself, then I can love you. But because a trauma bond, again, will always bring out the wounds in each person. And it doesn't mean that love isn't there. There is love because it's an unconditional love. And because it's instantaneous, you feel like you've known this person your whole life, you have empathy for them. You might even have a lot of the same spiritual wounds because you grew up in the same circumstances or have lived the same type of karmic situation. So you identify with each other. So there is this real, true bond. The problem is that we teach people how to treat us. And if you give yourself away because somebody feels so comfortable and you're telling your person, again, that you feel so comfortable with, everything that you need and everything that's going to make you feel secure, well, you're giving somebody that, first of all, relationships don't stay the same. There's an ebb and flow, and relationships are something that happen over time. So if you're telling someone everything about what makes you tick and what makes your heart stir up, they can use that to manipulate you. And we see that a lot in trauma bonds because the person comes in love bombing and they are giving and they're giving and they're giving and they're giving. And so you're feeling very comfortable to share about yourself and the things that are important to you and the things that matter to you and what you like to do and every little detail about yourself, but you're giving so much information to this person. And a lot of times the karmic theme, which I'm feeling for a lot, is this emotional abandonment that we grew up in. And this emotional abandonment where we weren't allowed to express our emotions and we felt like we didn't get the emotional support that we needed. And that is traumatic to the mind. So when we form a trauma bond, it's actually almost as if we're forming an addiction. And so what happens with anything is, you do an addiction over time, you actually crash and burn. It never ends good. So it's, again, trauma bond, the same thing. That's why there's a fine line between love and hate. So I just want to pull two more just from another deck. You'd think I know these decks offhand. I should do a shout out, as I really do love decks. I'm just bad with names. I'm not gonna lie, people. Okay, this deck is the Civil. That's right, the Civil, and it's from Italy. Civil of the Heart. It talks about, again, the emotional and the psychological things that we may have to look out for. Again, because this doesn't look like the relationship has ended. It just doesn't look like the relationship is doing anything. That it's just two people existing at this point. So, which means that your person may be checked out, which we're going to look into. But I want to see more about the spiritual wounds. Again, union. So obviously soulmate union, we know. And then love. So this tells me this is what both parties were taught that love was, and it was an imbalance. That it was okay that one person had all the power per se, and the other person just had all the responsibilities. It kind of looks like, but the love was real. Again, it was a union, it was a soulmate, and there was a lot of love at one time. And that's why the person, again, is honoring it, or you're honoring it. It's just you're not getting what you need. And that's, again, because at the end of the day, a relationship is supposed to make you, enhance you. They don't make you better, because understand, a relationship's not supposed to make you better, but it's supposed to enhance you. It's supposed to bring out your better qualities. It's supposed to inspire you, support you. Unconditional love is all about that. And no, you might not have that for someone right away, but that's the aim. That's the goal over time. That's why you're in it. And unconditional love has no ownership or expectation. There just is. So this is how we know that this is a true pair. So we want to know why something so good can turn so bad. Because codependency does that. Why does it do it? Well, repeat it. It's because when two people don't love themselves enough, they look for the answer outside of themselves. But what's happened now within this relationship, because relationships don't stay the same, they either have to evolve, grow, or they die. It's because again, as spiritual beings, all of us have to go with the flow. We're all evolving into higher states of consciousness, which is evolving into higher states of consciousness of unconditional love, learning what that is through our physical realities. And so this relationship at one point was that, but one person grew out of the other person. And so now either you, Cancer, or the person that you're attached to is just not getting enough. So the message really is you have to honor yourself. You have to honor yourself by, again, creating yourself. Just want to pull one more and then I'm going to close this out. So I know that it's time. It's fun to see where it goes, but this isn't fun. If you're in this type of relationship, this is not fun. This is a relationship that feels like a roller coaster. And where one person is always trying to get it back to that original state of where it was that unconditional love, where that was. But understand, we learn unconditional love first from our parents. And if our parents were abusive to us, and now we're mirroring the same type of relationship within our own relationship, we have to think we need to do something different. So when you look, if you're in a situation like this, Cancer, you need to look and you need to say, did my parents have a life? Did one person in the family do everything and the other person didn't do anything? Is that what's happening in my life, in my relationships rather? Do I give so much and I don't get anything in return? Is that a reoccurring karmic theme? Because if it is, the answer is not outside of you. It's to fill yourself up with love, because you are love. Again, you're God in physical form. We all have God inside of us. It's the gift of spirit, Holy Spirit. It's our connection to each other. So the first and number one spiritual law is to learn how to love yourself. And a lot of times we don't learn that through the environments that we grow up in. That's not an intentional thing. It's an unconscious thing that happens due to life and life experiences. So this is why, again, the answer is, beloved, inner and outer relationships. Love yourself so you can love others. And do it your way. Embrace your own uniqueness, untamed, meaning create yourself. Like, do it your way. Like, do life your way. You don't change your life for someone. You create your life, and then who resonates with it will come into your life. So again, this is just soulmate, twin flame type of relationship, which a lot of times is trauma bonded. It's trauma bonded because it's, again, we're relearning those lessons that has kept us stuck. And maybe, again, we're angry still at a parent, or maybe we didn't understand why a parent acted a certain way. And now we're embodying that situation so that we get to learn it. Again, breaking the karmic cycle is all about that. But I'm just curious, what would your person want to say to you? I'm just gonna, again, I like to use these heart cards before I close out. Because again, doesn't mean that the person doesn't love. It said love, it said union. So unconditional love, it's important to know. But is it enough for you to stay in this relationship? And what it seems like is it's not for one person in this relationship, because they've checked out. And that's what happens. We detach when too much emotion, too much thought, too much emotional pain. And the person might checked out through alcoholism for some of you, or through outside things to suppress their feeling and emotions. So your person would like to say, if you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not your mind. For the heart is the gateway to the soul. So you know what? Your person didn't even say this. This is just a message from spirit, it looks like. And that's because the person is checked out. So that logically makes sense with what we're saying here. But what the universe is saying is, if you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart. So it's again going back to feeding yourself, creating yourself, loving yourself, becoming love inside so that you can love outside. Because the kingdom of God's inside of you. You again got to love yourself first. And then once you become love through loving yourself and creating yourself, you become a magnet to that love. So that's your message for you, Cancer. Leave me a like, comment down below. Write the word healer in your comment box if you'd like to win a chance to win a free reading, and subscribe to my channel. Those are the 3 things that you have to do in order to win a psychic soul reading with me. Again, you just have to write the word healer in the description box. I hope that helped you. Please leave me your comments. I love it when you're interactive with me. Bye-bye.